Entrepreneurship is definitely not for everyone. You're gonna be pushed harder than you ever have before. You're gonna experience things that you wouldn't believe that you could cope with. And don't get me wrong, I talk about like the hardships of it, and there are the great times as well. There's great successes, like the feeling of your first sale, or the feeling when a customer comes up to you and he genuinely appreciates what you've done and what you've created, and like it's those moments that drive you forward. But it's also about when you enjoy the day-to-day of what you do, and again when you understand why you're doing that, that's when it's truly amazing. That's when you can genuinely create something incredible.
Describe to me what you were like when you were younger.
I was a very physical and creative person. I was known for my hard work ethic, and I'd always set very high targets for myself. But everything I did, I was very passionate. That was both in sport and work. I wasn't like naturally academic, but my hard work got me the results. But my first entrepreneurial experience was go up and buy different game consoles, games and everything, and then bundle them together and make some money. That was kind of my first like little business when I was quite young. And then as I grew older, I actually taught myself how to build websites. And then naturally from that, I was building websites for local businesses in my hometown. Like it's quite a funny story of Tailored Athlete. Like it was actually through an issue that I had myself that I discovered the product. When I was 18, just finished my A-levels, and I was looking for a shirt and blazer to wear to the prom, and I couldn't find anything that would fit, because at that time I'd been working out for a few years, and I had a broader chest and shoulders, and my waist was quite slim. So everything that I was trying to buy was just extremely baggy around like the midsection. It didn't look very good. The guys at the gym like, where do you buy clothes that fit? And no one really knew. It was like, there's nothing out there designed for that type of physique. And I just remember being in Marks and Spencer's, and like the tailor was just saying there's no chance you can taper that in anymore. And it's quite frustrating, you know, and it was kind of a light bulb moment for me, because I realized it was such a big gap in the market that no one is catering for that physique. So yeah, place the order for the shirts at the start of the month. They're coming in at the end of the month, which will be end of November. And we're launching on December the 9th, Friday the 9th, so that'll be a good day. For me, it was all about learning, all about being surrounded by successful people. And that's what I saw Brandon was offering. So that January, I started the 90-day internship. It was unpaid. I was sleeping on his office floor, and luckily I'd saved up around £1,500 in the previous year's work. The routine, like the whole environment I was in during that time of my life, was literally built for high growth and learning, like in an intensity that, like you couldn't really create unless you were in that environment. For example, like sleeping on the floor of the office, you get up at 6, you have a freezing cold shower, and then you start the day with your first meal, which is not much, because like I was dieting at that point and I couldn't really afford much food, so it kind of, it kind of worked well for the diet side of things. And then obviously I'd start working on Tailored Athlete until I started work for Brandon at 9 a.m. Then you do 9 to 5, full day of work, learning, and then after work, study again, learn more, podcast, read a book.
I wouldn't say that, but we definitely believed in Harry immediately. Like it was like the kind of work ethic and the ability to like problem solve, and we could see that in him like immediately. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was even when he was working remotely, like he was just on top of everything and doing it. I was like, oh shit, man, this kid. And when he was in New York, it was always great to have you here. And yeah, it was just like I believed in him. You know what I'm saying? And
so when did you actually launch Tailored Athlete?
Tailored Athlete launched in December 2016. So I actually funded the first order of shirts through a £3,000 credit card that was meant for university. So yeah, sales started to pick up, and my mum was actually fulfilling orders from my bedroom back in the UK. And it was that March when, it really started to pick up, and we sold out of stock straight away. So we were just pre-ordering product. As soon as it would come into the warehouse, it would be sent straight out to customers. So it was incredibly difficult to, at that age, to learn how to build a business and generate revenue. Like everything from designing a logo to setting up the company to, I didn't know how to grade sizing in like a men's shirt. It was all completely new to me, and I was just trial and error and learning everything online. Especially when you face challenges, and to the point where when I sent my sizing spec to the suppliers, they were just like, we don't want to produce this for you, you're not going to sell any, like you may as well give up. All of those pushbacks were, I kind of saw, like every time I got a pushback I was learning, and I just kind of saw it as it was allowing me to improve my experience for the future. And it's not in my nature to quit. If I believe that I can achieve something, I'm going to do everything in my power to do that and not give up. When I was about 13, 14, my parents went through quite a difficult divorce. It was quite a toxic situation. Like how everything was going, there was financial difficulties, and don't get me wrong, like we had a great upbringing. However, just due to the situation, there was a lot of financial difficulties, and like times where you couldn't have the heating on in winter, or I couldn't do certain sports, or there's not much food, for example. Those experiences stick with you. I mean, it was incredibly frustrating, and I got very angry at that time, but how I dealt with that was just by putting my head down in the gym and getting in some serious work. Like, it was kind of my escape to it all. I remember when I was 16, I made a promise to myself that I never want to feel like that again, and I'm going to do everything in my power not to be in that situation. I mean, even like later on in my teenage years, even when I had started building Tailored Athlete and had a bit more money, it's situations like when you go out for dinner and you can't buy a starter, you have to get like the cheapest main, or when I'll go out with my mates on a Friday night and I only had enough money for one drink, but I wanted to go out and have a good time. Like, you remember those things, and yeah, I mean, yeah, I find myself creating or using the mindset I always have towards the gym in business. I feel like it relates in a lot of different ways. For example, like recently my training has moved to more like long distance running, and when you're running up a steep incline, you shorten your strides, you focus on your breathing, and you push forward. And that's the same in business. When business gets tough, right, you focus on the most important things, you tighten things up, and you push forward. It was March 2018, we surpassed our first six-figure month, and at that point I actually moved out to Vietnam, again to be surrounded by like-minded people building online businesses similar to me. It was kind of the lifestyle everyone like paints a picture of and kind of wants. I was sitting on the beach drinking a cocktail and running my company, and I had a very, very good life, and I had this feeling that yeah, I could have continued to live like that and been very happy, but for me, it's about building something bigger. I didn't want to settle. And so at that point, I actually moved back to the UK, and because the business had grown so much, we located our head offices in London, and in August that year, we brought on our first full-time employee.
But heading off to Bali tomorrow, and it's been a great time here. Got a lot done, learned a lot, and yeah, onwards and upwards.
When you're trying to also live your life with friends, relationships, families, and just enjoy life in general, it can get all a bit much. But at the end of the day, for me, it's all about learning, growing, and moving forward and becoming a better person today than you were yesterday. 2019 it's been a great year. Things have really picked up, but perceived success is not always where it relates to in reality. Like, I mean, I turned 22 in January, right? And at 22 years old, I was making decisions that I shouldn't have been making. I was going through experiences and seeing things that a 22-year-old shouldn't be. And I mean, it was extreme. Like, I've been at extreme low points this year. I've also had amazing successes as well. But like this year, there's been 2 points and I've literally been broken and pushed to like mental and physical limits that I didn't believe I would be able to cope with. Like there was a point when I was halfway across the world and I was in my hotel room preparing for one of the biggest meetings ahead and I literally collapsed. Like it's those moments where you really understand and your character will shine through. You really learn who you are. And I mean, like I always do and I always will, it was just all about getting back on your feet. You chin up, you take a deep breath and you break down the situation and you look at what's working and what's not and then you make a decision and you move forward.
3, 2.
It always comes back to the gym. Like, no matter what is going on in your life, whether you're happy, you're sad, you're excited, you're frustrated, you can always go to the gym and put in a serious workout and you'll come out with a completely different outlook on everything. And the thing I love about the gym is it's you, it's weights, and it's just hard work. There are no shortcuts, and you're just accountable for your results. It's the same with business. If I don't do things properly or I don't invest in the back end of the company, ultimately I'm responsible for the successes and failures of Tailored Athlete. There's no shortcuts, there's no one to hide behind, and that's what it means to be an entrepreneur. Tailored Athlete is bigger than just clothing. It's a movement and it's something people can actually relate to and connect to, and it's an experience. It's not just shirts, it's not just jeans. Like, I mean, as I was a kid, I always set the highest targets for myself. And if I'm not doing the best I can do, I'm holding myself accountable to that. And that relates in product, in content. I want the best emails, I want the best customer experience. And I mean, like now we're actually really, really focusing on these things. Like, for example, in product, we're building custom blended fabrics specifically to us. Every seam, every button, and every thread is thought about. Like there's a reason behind it. And that just applies across the board. Like, as I say, this is a lifetime vision, and that's going to apply and stand true in 5, 10, and 15 years from now. Best way to describe this is when you get a new pair of football boots or a new pair of boxing gloves, the first time you try them on, you get this feeling, right? A feeling that you're going to perform and play better than you ever have before. And it's that feeling that I want to build and translate into men's formal wear through Tailored Athlete. So when you put on a shirt for the first time, when you try on your pair of jeans for the first time, or trousers, you feel like you're going to be the best you can be. It's going to bring out the best in you. You're going to be confident, you're going to make the right decisions. And it's that whole experience. It's more, that's why I say it's more than just clothing. It's the actual movement that people aspire to be connected to. It's that group of people that are, and it's shown in our customer base. I mean, we have Olympic athletes buying our clothes, we have professional footballers, CEOs, like it's just people are attracted to that due to the like what we stand by and the values of the brand. For anyone who's ever achieved something, it's not about the clothes that they wear or the car that they drive or the money they have in the bank account. It's about the mindset behind it. How much are they willing to push forward? How much are they willing to invest in themselves? It's the people who want to do more, be more, and create more, something bigger themselves. It's those defining attributes that really relate to Tailored Athlete, and that's true within the team, our customers, and everyone we work with.